with it.
Welcome back to Morgan Talks Comics. This week we are looking at GRRRL SCOUTS Stone Ghost from Jim MAHFOOD. Jim MAHFOOD is another artist who's a big influence on my own work, my own storytelling. I've been a fan of his for a very long time. It's been interesting to see how his style has evolved over the years. It used to be a lot different to kind of what it is now, but it's still the same, if that makes sense in any way, shape or form.
No.
Clearly not. Sorry. And introducing, welcome back, Eliza Mariah Chamberlain.
Hello.
Hello.
I hope it's warmer where the listeners are. Blooming freezing.
Yeah, it's a bit chilly today.
Right, what were you saying? It made no sense to me.
So, Jim MAHFOOD has been, it's been a favourite of mine for a very long time. I've got a lot of his stuff. And it's been interesting to see how his style has evolved over the years. It used to be, I guess in a way, it was a bit more restrained and a bit more sort of clean lines and stuff like that. He's now draws in a more energetic, looser way. Yeah, much looser. But I love the way Jim tells stories. He's a big influence on my storytelling. Music is a big part of his comics as well. A lot of his early comics were talking about sort of like hip hop and jazz and stuff like that. I think it's probably where I got the idea of putting a playlist in my own books. Usually in my graphic novels, I put a playlist at the end of what music I was listening to at the end of each book.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, keeping secrets.
Yeah, so I'd put a playlist of music I'd be listening to while I'd be making comics, and I think pretty certain that's come from Jim's. Certainly his earlier comics. Music is a big part of what he does. He does a radio show where they have a playlist every week and stuff like that. And very much comes from a hip hop, jazz background, and there's lots of really interesting and autobiographical comics as well. Jim quite often puts himself into his work, not necessarily the stories, but as you'll see, there'll be more like autobiographical stuff, which again has informed my autobiographical comics and persona.
I'm just looking at this rather strange woman with unfortunate legs. This leg goes up to her hip, but it's still a gap. I was looking at myself and poking. I couldn't work out how you could do that. You can't have that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, again, I was talking about how Jim's style has evolved over the years. He's nearly always had GRRRL SCOUTS, comes from the riot GRRRL scene of the 90s, so it's like indie rock music.
Is it GRRRL?
GRRRL, yeah.
Right, like growling.
Like growling. But the Girl Scouts themselves have been around for a long time. It started off with three main characters, and they were
Excuse me.
they were drug dealers.
Oh my God.
But they all had very interesting lives outside of. So they had like sort of. There's one series where they had to have like day jobs because they were trying to go legit and stuff like that.
What's this weird thing?
We'll come to him. He's a little supporting character that comes in through the comics.
So I have to wait, do I?
Yeah. So do you want to dive? Should we dive in?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Jim's style is very much it's much looser and much more of an organic kind of style now, but still echoes a lot of, like, I can see Jack Kirby in here. We'll have to do Jack Kirby at some point because he's a influence over a lot of my favourite artists. It's nice to see that there's variant covers for this series as well, which are really cool. We'll come to those a bit later because that's actually in the magazine. But then we've got a nice opening splash page of this sort of crazy looking city.
Are you convinced that's a city?
Yeah, because there's like towers here, there's sort of like rooftops here. Jim tends to set his stories in like very much urban settings, so in town settings, towns and cities.
Right, what are these things?
These, I think these are like towers.
These things.
Yeah, they're like bits of towers, like on a castle or something like that, turrets or whatever.
Oh, right. Right. So it's not a modern city.
No, it could be an older city. Again, nice work with the Jim tends to do his own lettering as well, so that sort of fits in nicely with the way the pages all flow together.
And is that uppercase?
It is uppercase.
They don't listen to me, do
No,
they?
they don't. You would kind of think, considering that this is like Jim's own handwriting, that he might write in upper and lowercase. But again, I don't know. It's something that I do. I tend to write a lot in capitals. But I think that's from my print background.
Yes, but I'd say over and over again that a poor reader can read upper and lowercase much easier than they can read uppercase. Yeah. And as I've said before, I haven't said it recently because I've been holding back, but I can't hold back now, is that a comic is a really good way of getting a poor reader to read, because
absolutely
they get something straight away from what they're reading.
Yeah.
They don't have to read lots and lots of text before they know anything.
Yeah.
They can look at the pictures and let it guide them. But when it's all uppercase, it makes it more difficult. And I don't know. I should take out some great big ads to put on advertising thingamajigs saying.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that the graphic novel I'm working on at the moment has upper and lowercase.
I am pleased to know, and I actually thought your other ones did too. You sneaked them by me, didn't you?
My graphic novels tend to, because I set my text on a computer, so it's easier to work upper and lower. If I'm doing lettering by hand, I generally tend to use capitals. So if I'm drawing a strip completely by hand, then it's quite often in capitals.
I can't even convince you. How am I going to convince the rest of the comic industry?
It's a sad state of affairs.
It is. You don't get it.
No.
Because you're a good reader.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, opening up with a big urban setting, lots of nice use of simple use of colour, and similar to Ashley Wood that we were looking at in the last episode, there's a lot of use of toning, the self-adhesive tone.
Oh yes.
Tone stuff.
Could you show it to me again?
So yeah, you can see it here. Just here, detail on one of the roofs. There's sort of these jagged lines, and then you can just see like lots of little dots inside it, but it's all that's being cut out by hand to follow the shape of the lines.
This bit here too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's using letter-tone.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's just a nice way of adding depth to a piece. So. So we open up, we go further and we open up into a big double-page spread. So we've got this sort of fantastical city setting in the background, and we've got dialogue between two of the characters in small panels across it, with the dialogue in little bubbles above them. So we've got Dio and Gordy talking to each other. Dio is the female character in this story.
I like that, because even though it's quite complex, the part you read to get the story is clear. It's perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Is it a steampunk again, or is it?
It's definitely science fiction. It's definitely got a very science fiction vibe. I know, because I'm a fan of MAHFOOD's work, Jim's work.
What's this about?
They're they're like big signs, like in Las Vegas or something like that. They'd have these big signs pointing to stores and stuff like that.
Have they?
Yeah, all like neon lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've only seen Elvis written big.
Yeah, you stood in front of it.
I did.
yeah, so they've got this fantastical cityscape with like, excuse me, big signs popped up and stuff like that, and then we have the dialogue between the two characters, Dio and Gordy, in simple little panels across, and then we actually see them sitting in a bar.
Is that a person?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we have them sitting here in a bar, talking about what's going on and how they've been feeling.
What's this?
So here we've got another big character, Turtleneck Jones, because he wears a turtleneck.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that his eyes?
They're his eyes because he's wearing sunglasses.
I can't see them on there, but
Yeah.
very 1960s, aren't they?
Yeah. Jim's got a real kind of like late 60s, early 70s vibe. You know, like the sort of the Shaft movies and that sort of thing. That era of movie making.
I like the music,
Yeah.
but they were too violent for my liking.
Yeah. Yeah. So
not that I'm old enough to remember that. Got to push. I take it that he's older.
No, I think Jim's about the same age as me. He's in his early 50s.
I'm not in your early 50s.
No, I'm actually in my late 50s now.
Just pointing that out to be helpful.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so there's another crowd jumping, and they're calling for Turtleneck Jones, who's with Dio and Gordy, and a fight breaks out in the bar.
Oh, I like these pages, very clear.
Yeah, so
not
again,
as busy. Opposite.
A little bit like the Ashley Wood stuff we were looking at last week. There's Jim knows how to put a page together and make it sort of quite clear. And interestingly, the first couple of pages are more abstract, but as the story starts unfolding, the way that the panels flow is much more logical. So that's like it's like a little electronic key. So they're going to go off on a mission, and they've got Turtleneck Jones, who's some kind of sort of like big, tough character. I think he's working as like security, like a bodyguard for them.
But you wear silly glasses.
What, sunglasses?
They're not sunglasses. They're women in the 1960s glasses, aren't they?
I guess it's got that kind of shape to it, yeah.
So I can't see him as a tough one. Not to mention his roll neck jumper.
So we see them all having a drink at the bar, and then they're talking about what they're going on. Jim's dropping comics actually into a comic as well. So the Gordy hands Dio a comic from the Sinister Steroids Squad Supreme.
Is it a real one?
No, it's made up. It's made up. But it's sort of like in universe of this story.
Right, yes. It's a really weird picture. Yeah. Where's her mouth?
Just a tiny little dot there.
Oh.
So, as I say, Jim's style has changed a lot over the years, whereas it used to be a lot cleaner and clearer. He's gone to a sort of a more abstract, in a way, almost like pure cartooning, because he's taking faces down to real basic elements.
Yes, I can't help but wonder how she gets on at the dentist. He would better get a mouth open up to see it.
It's not real.
It's not real, is it? No.
So we see the crew heading off here, and they're going off on some kind of mission, and then Dio's talking about her boyfriend who's died. So
that's sad.
On the next couple of pages,
it's yellow.
We flash over. So Jim's used the background of these pages, which are quite busy because they're more like sort of like little diary comics. It's just done in a dark blue against a yellow background. I think they call them legal pads because they're used in courtrooms. So it's like lined paper. You can see that the pale blue lines in the background.
Oh, right. It's just like our pads that we used for, everything.
Yeah.
And in university and what have you.
So it's like drawn on line paper, and this
I
is
can't see that blue. It looks black to me.
yeah, it's kind of got a really nice sort of like very deep blue tint.
Right, you're right.
But this is talking about how Dio met her boyfriend and everything, and what happens, talking about their relationship and stuff like that. So it's adding some background to how she's feeling, and then he gets cancer and dies at the end.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And she's very melancholy, so she's like nothing after that would ever be the same.
No. Now that is a serious issue.
What? Cancer?
Yeah, and about a boyfriend dying and everything.
Yeah.
It's not your usual nonsense, is
No,
it?
absolutely. There's quite an emotional undertone to the storytelling here, where Dio is finding it quite hard to carry on because she's upset after her partner's died, and then we've got Jones here he's a bounty hunter, and he's just like, yeah, let's get into it and just go for it kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Who's this?
So Dio and Turtleneck Jones have gone off in his spaceship to do whatever they're going to do, their mission.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we flip back to Gordy here, this little sort of like octopus sidekick of Dio.
Oh, is that the thing that's on the front?
Yeah.
Weird thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's making a phone call to somebody called Taco, which is this kind of like demonic looking figure in like robes.
Right.
And he's talking to her. He's clearly setting Dio up for something. Because he's gone behind her back and he's talking about doing a bit of the bargain. Gordy's saying, I did my bit of I fulfilled my part of the bargain, please let them go. So that Taco's got his family as prisoners.
I say, but he betrayed the others.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What's that about?
So there's these sort of like big kind of demon characters. You've got Taco, the sort of priest, whatever figure in robes, and there's this sort of big demonic mouth, which
It
is
looks
obviously
like it's got an eye in it.
It has. So there's a bit of like collage stuff here. There's a photograph of an eye that's been cut out and pasted in. Jim very much like sticks things down and uses tone and stuff like that.
We all like cutting and sticking.
Yeah, it's like he's very much a multimedia kind of guy. He uses a lot of different materials to put his stories together.
Right, this is good. You could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just for a change.
Just for a change. I'd like to get more stuff like that. It's weird because I tend to draw with pens and do a lot of my colour work on the computer, but I'd like to be doing more handmade kind of stuff.
You've got some good colouring pencils, haven't you?
I have.
Facial tones.
Yeah.
Somebody very clever brought you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's very good. Liza Mariah is very good at choosing art supplies for me.
Yes. And what's it called? Charcoal. I don't know you've used that.
I don't think I've used charcoal. I haven't used charcoal since I was at school, I don't think.
Well, I bought you some.
Yeah. So I need to be doing more art. So anyway, we've got Gordy here, and he's confronted by this other gang of characters, and he's talking about his children. He wants to make sure that his children are safe. So they, by the end of the page, they're turning around and saying, got to wrap things up. We've got a GRRRL SCOUT to track down. And we flat back into the centre spread of the comic. A nice use of tone and just simple colours using red
as an
accent colour.
Though, is it?
No. So it's kind of, I think it's drawn with a dip pen, like a sort of a fountain pen without a reservoir. So you just dip it in the ink and scratch on.
I know.
Yeah. But this is flashing back to Dio and Jones in their ship, and they've landed on another planet, I guess. They call it the outer sector. So we've got all of these kind of like beaten up city stuff going on. And then they come across the group that were with Gordy earlier on.
Sorry, I didn't have any questions then when you got to.
No, you didn't.
Normally I would have.
And then they flash up a sort of like a little hologram thing, and this is actually the Girl Scouts of the title, the original 3 characters.
Right.
They're looking for the Girl Scouts, and it's asking about some magic socks.
What's magic about them?
I don't know what's magic about them, but these guys are looking for them.
Perhaps they don't ever have to be washed. And
Maybe.
They're fresh as a daisy. Is that supposed to be a mouth?
Yeah. So we flash over, and the leader, I think Bigglesworth, he was called. Binglesworth is commanding. So it's the bad guys that are seen at the beginning are just called the Teeth, because they are just like sort of like venomous teeth.
Nothing but teeth.
Nothing but teeth and lots of eyes. They're kind of a bit like Lovecraft creatures. H.P. Lovecraft.
I know the name. Other than that, I know nothing.
So Lovecraft was an American writer in the 20s and 30s who wrote some books about creatures called Cthulhu, and they've sort of passed into pop culture, I guess. But they're sort of extra dimensional beings. They live outside our universe and stuff like that, and they're kind of like big sort of deities that are like got lots of eyes and tentacles and stuff like that.
I wonder if I have seen them. I just
You
don't
possibly have. They've been in
but...
films and stuff like that. There've been film adaptations of Lovecraft stuff.
Yes, but would I have seen them? Would I look at that and think, yeah, I really wouldn't see them?
Probably not.
No.
Anyway, so there's a confrontation going on, and
they're not fighting, are they?
They're not fighting, but there's sort of kind of a standoff going off between Jones and Bigglesworth.
Bags at dawn.
Yeah.
What's this?
So he's saying he can see tombstones in your eyes, and
it's supposed to be an eye.
He's looking into Jones's eyes, and then Jones pulls his own gun on himself and then blows his own head off.
Why?
To escape, I think. But we've got a big splash page here with lots of different media put on it. There's paint splattered across it and all this kind of stuff. It's very loose and expressive.
I would guess that a great big gun like that would just knock his head off.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Oh, this is a good one. I like this.
Yeah, so there's a full page of reaction as Jones's body just splats to the ground, and then Dio is saying, "I did not see that coming."
Neither did I.
So we've got a big, just like a slice across the page.
Reaction,
where it's just a close up on Dio's face.
What does this say?
And then down at the bottom in Jim's scratchy lettering, it says, "Next issue, a whole bunch of other crazy, unexpected shit happens. Do not miss out on the world's best-selling psychedelic comic book experience."
Right.
Because it has got kind of this kind of drug-addled kind of thing.
Is that a post page?
So we've got like a post page, yeah. So there's this in this first issue, it's being used to talk about how about this new series Stone Ghost, but there's also some letters brought in that must have come up from the previous series, which I think was called Magic Socks. That's what they were looking for. I can't remember why it's called Magic Socks, but
because they're magic socks.
Because those magic socks. But then we've got some sketches here from Peach Momoko, who did the variant cover. I know that Peach and Jim have a really good working relationship.
Right,
They've crossed over. In Peach's latest comic, Psy, for Marvel Comics, Jim MAHFOOD did the big chunk of the latest issues. It's a great series because they have lots of different artists working on telling one story. So you've got a really nice mixture of styles.
Yeah.
So yeah, got some really nice sketches there. And then we've got some backup stories. These are kind of like in-universe stories, and we've got Gordy and one of his kids, and they're reading this character called Macho Tailfin, which is this big, like muscle-bound shark character who's like kind of this big sort of rampaging superhero, who's like, and so what we're reading is like the comic within the comic. It's the stories within the comic, and again, this is drawn in Jim's really nice, quite lots of busy panels, but not massive, so they're still quite clear to follow through.
Yes, they are logically straight across,
and then just really nice use of simple like flat color. There's no like shading or anything like that. It's just lots of flat color, which again, I think as my styles evolved, I've found that I tend to prefer to work in flat color now.
Yes.
It seems to suit my style of drawing a lot more.
But it doesn't look like this because you use different sorts of colours.
Yeah.
More contrasts.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim's using a very limited palette here. So we've got sort of almost like a very a pale blue, we've got orange, and then sort of like a pink tone. And that's pretty much it throughout the whole story.
What's that long thing you just put your fingers on?
Where there?
Yes.
It's like a remember in Batman they had the bat symbol. They put the searchlight. Yes. It went up with the big bat symbol.
I do remember.
So this is like a light shining for Macho Tailfin, and it's a shark's fin because he's a shark, calling him up to.
Right.
And then carrying on, we've got a page of autobiographical comics. So this is Jim MAHFOOD talking about the process of making comics.
I'd have to say, you artists do like talking about yourselves.
Well, I think it's kind of changed over the years. It's I don't know. Looking back at we've talked a lot about the history of comics, and I think it's one of the things that kind of changed more in the 60s when we had artists like Robert Crumb come up, and there was a lot more talking about life rather than just sort of like action adventure kind of stuff. And if you're talking about life, you end up kind of talking about yourself, about how people interact with each other and stuff like that.
Yes.
And Jim's always put this kind of, he's quite often, you'll see in his comics that he'll put himself in there and he'll be talking about the experience of putting the comics together. And what inspired him and stuff like that. And other projects he's worked on, because he's worked on film and TV. He's done design for television and video games and stuff like that as well. So he's done a lot of work outside of comics.
And he's writing about that there.
Yeah.
You know what I would call that?
Showing off?
Yes. If somebody else wrote about it, it'd be fine. Is this a different comic?
No, this is Jim. I don't know if this is still running, but there used to be, because this comic's from, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. I'm trying to remember. Let me just check the date. This is from 2021, so 5 years ago. Didn't realise it was that old.
The date on the front like other magazines.
No, some do. Some do. But as I say, Jim music is a big part of his life, and he had this thing called School Funk Radio, which is on Spotify, and it'd be playlists, and it would go up. I can't remember if he was doing a weekly or monthly, but there's a lot of them. This is like volume 34 here, so there's been 30 shows. But it would be playlists, and especially stuff that he was listening to while he was making the comics.
Okay.
So the fact. I mean,
more self-obsession.
I guess it's just sharing more of the creative process, really. So at the end of the day, artists are there to make a living from what they do. So there's lots of merchandise. There's pages here of other merchandise that MAHFOOD has got out there, talking about being offering commissions and stuff like that. And then there's a cover gallery on the inside back cover, because as we've talked about earlier in other shows,
marketing ploy.
Yeah, there's a lot of variant covers. But there's been some really great artists working on this.
I like this one.
Yeah, Zoo. That's really nice. It's like a fully painted one. That's really nice. I like that a lot.
Come to that. That's quite. I can't quite see what that is.
Yeah. Well, that's the Dio and Gordy characters. Just like a close up of them. That's done by Scotty Young, who I think we've got to look at some point.
Right.
Because again, he's another writer artist. I really like. A lot of the people.
This and that look similar.
Yeah.
Is it the same person?
No. So that was done by Scotty Young, who at the moment is writing Lobo for DC Comics.
Right.
But I know there's sort of certain almost like clumps of artists that work closely together. So I know that like Jim MAHFOOD does a lot of variant covers as well as storytelling. Are you feeling a bit tired?
How do you tell?
Somebody's starting to rest her head on my shoulder. I wish I could say it because...
Don't give the game away. I think I like you.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
You got lost now, haven't you?
No, but a lot of like comic book artists especially support each other, and that's why they are friends and they'll do covers for each other and stuff like that. So you will see a certain group of people will be working together.
Is that how I'm finished now?
Yeah. So and then on the back,
end?
so on the back here there's an advert for one of Jim's art books. He does a lot of because he's a very prolific artist. He draws like all the time. There's quite a lot of books of just his pure artwork.
You've got loads of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of like self-publishing and sells through his website and stuff like that. But he's been a big influence on my work for a very long time. I got into him like quite early on in his career. When his style was very different. You can still tell it's him underneath it all, but yeah, because he's gone to this more sort of like loose, scratchy style, and it's kind of a little bit more abstract and a bit more psychedelic, I guess.
I don't think it's got enough colours.
Yeah,
psychedelic.
yeah.
I always think loads and loads of colours, like Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, yellow. Yeah, the Beatles film, because that's like loads of colours. But it was weird because to start off with, when I'd seen that his style had sort of shifted, I was a bit hesitant because I really liked his sort of more clean drawing style. It was a bit more like the guys, Jamie Hewlett, who does GRRRL, the band. And I know from being a fan, I know that Jim MAHFOOD was influenced by Jamie Hewlett when he started out. I think as well because Jamie Hewlett created a character called Tank Girl.
I've seen that character.
Yeah. So Jamie was the original creator and artist of Tank Girl, and I'm pretty certain Jim MAHFOOD has done some Tank Girl comics. What's carried on as Hewlett's moved away from comics and gone more into sort of like movie production and storyboarding and the virtual band GRRRL. Other artists have come in with the other co-creator of Tank Girl, Alan Martin, and the other artists have come in and done Tank Girl stories. Ashley Wood, who we talked about last week, has done quite a lot of Tank Girl comics.
Picture a woman every time you say that. What's that actress? Ashley
Jensen?
Yes, that's right. That's the picture that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Can I give it a... No?
Yeah, please do, yeah.
Right. I thought the story is good.
Mm-hmm.
It is a proper story and it's got depth.
Yeah.
And, well, there really wasn't any silly Barneys in it, were there? There was arguing, which is one thing.
Yeah.
But having a set tooth, I didn't see any of that. So that got lots of points for it. It lost one because, uppercase. Perhaps I ought to remove 5 every time there's an uppercase, but 1 it's gone. I wondered if the language was appropriate, although if somebody's just shot something through their head, I suppose a rude word would come to mind,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
it? And that, but so that might be okay. I'll leave that one. The artwork I did like mostly,
Yeah.
but sometimes it confused me. But sometimes it didn't matter if I was confused, did it?
No,
So
no.
that was okay. Yes, that person with the roll neck jumper.
Turtleneck Jones.
Yes, he was supposed to be vicious, and yet he had woman's cat's eye 1960s glasses on and a roll-neck jumper. Wasn't he the one that shot himself through the head?
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to bother with him again, will we?
You'd have to read the rest of the series to find out. Which isn't going to happen from the look on your face.
Well, I'm just wondering how he could recover from that. Or could he become a ghost? Or aren't you going to tell me?
I can't remember because I actually when I grabbed this one to do a review of, because it's one of the latest MAHFOOD comics I've got. I was actually going to sit down and reread the story and remind myself of what actually happened. I kind of remember little bits and pieces of what happened, but yeah, it's due a reread. It's something I do quite often. Is I'll read stories over again.
Yes, I think that gets about 8, mostly because it really had a proper story, and it wasn't fluff, and it wasn't all fighting all the time, and yeah, that gets 8.
Excellent, that's good.
I think that's the highest one I've given.
I think it is actually. I think it might be. So yeah, high praise for Jim MAHFOOD.
I even like her legs, even though in real life she'd need some surgery on those, wouldn't she?
She probably would. Jim does draw a lot. He draws a lot of female characters, but he does quite exaggerate sort of anatomy. So the legs are very long and slender, you know.
Like Cindy or Tressie.
Yeah,
or something.
it's got a kind of a doll feeling to it.
But he doesn't. I mean, I don't remember him drawing them sexually, except what's the word I want? Exaggeratedly, like with
Overly sexualized.
Thank you very much. That's what I meant with big boobs.
Yeah,
pointlessly.
I know. I mean, he's never done that. He does female characters really well. Like say the original 3 Girl Scouts are, because they're girls, they're all female characters and they work really, really well.
But we were talking the other day about how it was like page 3 on the front of some of these thing, pointlessly. And out of date. Out of date over here anyway.
Yeah, this trend that still goes on in comics that I despair of basically having a cover with just naked women on it, and it's just like, what's the point? You know,
they do that in books as well.
Yeah,
because I've read things where the protagonist. Thank you. I must be tired. She's been described in a particular way, and you look on the picture, and there's no way the character that they'd actually, the writer had built inside wouldn't wear what was on the front of the cover, which seems odd to me, but there you go.
Yeah.
And quite disrespectful towards the writer.
Oh yeah, I mean, whereas you know, because the figures are drawn in a more exaggerated style. It's comic book after all. It's cartoons. Jim's characters tend to be dressed more normally, you know, in normal everyday clothes.
Yeah, although you really do see short skirts like that when you go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you've literally, it covers your bum and not a lot else. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just want to go to sleep.
So, on that, thanks for listening. Let us know what you think. And
give us feedback.
Yeah,
please.
we'd love to hear feedback from you guys. And if you think of other comics that you think we should be looking at, please let us know. And with that, we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.